Пекач заряджений? Вогонь!
Close to 250 of Vladimir Putin's soldiers have been killed or injured in southern Ukraine in the past 24 hours, a Ukrainian military commander claimed. Ukraine's authorities said the casualties occurred on Saturday in Tavria, a village in southern Ukraine's Zaporizhia, where Ukrainian forces are looking to advance for strategic territorial advantage. Over the last day, the enemy lost 248 people, 84 dead, 163 wounded and 1 captured, Brigadier General Alexander Tarnovsky said in his Telegram channel on Sunday. It comes as Russia's former leader Dmitry Medvedev warned Moscow could annex more of Ukraine a year on from when they first claimed Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson. The special military operation will continue until the complete destruction of the Nazi regime in Kyiv. Victory will be ours. And there will be more new regions within Russia, Mr. Medvedev said. The 4 regions remain occupied by Moscow, but it does not have complete control of any of the regions as Russian troops face Ukraine's counteroffensive. Close to 250 of Vladimir Putin's soldiers have been killed or injured in southern Ukraine in the past 24 hours, a Ukrainian military commander said. Ukraine's authorities said the casualties occurred on Saturday in Tavria, a village in southern Ukraine's Zaporizhia, just 23 kilometers from the major town of Tokmak, where Ukrainian forces are looking to advance for strategic territorial advantage. Over the last day, the enemy lost 248 people, 84 dead, 163 wounded and 1 captured, Brigadier General Alexander Tarnovsky, who is in charge of the strategic and operational group of forces in Tavria, said in his Telegram channel on Sunday. Over the last day, the enemy lost 248 people, 84 dead, 163 wounded and 1 captured, says Ukrainian general. Russian air defenses intercepted 37 Ukrainian drones over Ukrainian territory in last 24 hours, its defense ministry said. It said the interceptions happened on Ukrainian territory where Russia is fighting what it calls a special military operation. 5 ships are on their way to Ukrainian seaports using a new corridor open to resume agricultural exports, a Ukrainian official said. 5 new vessels are waiting to be loaded in Ukrainian ports, Deputy Prime Minister Oleksandr Kubrikov said on X, formerly Twitter. Moscow closed off Ukraine's Black Sea ports after it invaded the country in February last year, but agreed to a Turkey-brokered deal reopening the ports in July 2022. But Russia later left the deal, claiming its own food and fertilizer exports were being ignored, boosting Ukraine's farming economy. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said Defense Secretary Grant Shapps' suggestion that British troops could train forces in Ukraine is not for the here and now during the war against the Russian invasion. Mr. Sunak ruled out UK forces going to Ukraine and said that the recently appointed political head of the Ministry of Defense was discussing possible plans for the long term. On a visit to Burnley ahead of the Tory party conference getting underway in Manchester, Mr. Sunak said he wants to be absolutely clear about the situation following some misreporting. He said that Britain has been training Ukrainian citizens and soldiers for a long time within the UK. And what the Defense Secretary was saying was that it might well be possible one day in the future for us to do some of that training in Ukraine, the Prime Minister said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was seen in Kyiv this morning marking the Defenders of Ukraine Day. He visited a memory wall in the capital, where he was joined by European Union Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, will begin holding meetings in Ukraine today to discuss policy goals and challenges with government officials. The IMF said last week its mission had begun its second review of a $15.6 billion multi-year loan program for the country. The 4-year program for Kyiv is part of a $115 billion global package to support the economy as Ukraine battles Russia's invading forces. An IMF team, led by Ramakrishnan, Deputy Director of the Fund's European Department, starts meetings today in Kyiv with the Ukrainian authorities and other stakeholders, Ukraine said. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev suggested British soldiers training Ukrainian troops in Ukraine would be legitimate targets for Russian forces, as would German factories producing Taurus missiles should they supply Kyiv. In a post on Telegram, Mr. Medvedev first directed his ire towards recently appointed British Defence Minister Grant Shapps, who said London wants to deploy military instructors to Ukraine, in addition to training Ukrainian armed forces in Britain or other Western countries as at present. This will turn their instructors into a legal target for our armed forces, understanding perfectly well that they will be ruthlessly destroyed. And not as mercenaries, but